For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is VSiN PrimeTime. Live from the Circus Sportsbook in downtown Las Vegas on VSiN, the sports betting network.
We keep it rolling. Hour number 2 of VSiN Primetime, getting you ready for puck drop between the Florida Panthers and the Carolina Hurricanes. Will it be all she wrote tonight for the Carolina Hurricanes, I should say? That's Matt Youmans. I'm Tim Murray. As you know, you talked about, Matt, with Johnny, the adjustment or lack thereof from Game 3 to Game 4 in the Pacers-Knicks series. Big old adjustment from Game 3 to Game 4 here in this one. Game 3 seemed like the desperation spot for the Carolina Hurricanes. They closed at around minus 145 or so. And now, Matt, market-wide, 170 or higher in favor of the Panthers, who have won and easily covered the puck line in every single game in this series.
Well, you have to have a lot of guts, I think, to bet the Carolina Hurricanes at this point, right? Down 3-0 in the series. Tim, how many consecutive losses?
15 straight, Matt. Gotten outscored in this series 16-4.
15 straight losses.
15 straight losses in Eastern Conference Finals, and they have been outscored in the first 3 games 16-4.
So, with this team, with the Carolina Hurricanes players probably halfway to Cancun, are you going to bet the underdog tonight? No way.
No.
I'm not playing the dog. First of all, Florida Panthers have outclassed them basically the entire series. And what makes you think Carolina is going to show up tonight to avoid the sweep?
Just give me a strong effort in the first period, boys. Let's go scoreless, and then I don't care what the rest of you do the rest of the night there. But, yeah, since the Florida Panthers, Matt, surprisingly lost Game 6. Remember, Game 5 against the Maple Leafs, they went to Toronto and won by $1 billion, won 6-1. They come back home, they get shut out, lose 2-0. Since then, Matt, they have outscored opponents in the last 4 games 22-5. I mean, they're rolling right now, and we'll see what that's.
Got everything.
Yeah,
coaching, veteran leadership. They got the stars, they got the goalie. And they got the experience, too, because they've been to the Stanley Cup Final the last 2 years. Won it last year in 7 games. Lost to the Vegas Golden Knights in 5 games 2 years ago. But I would not bet against Florida Panthers right now. This team looks like it's going to go back-to-back. And looks like we're headed for a rematch of last year's conference finals. Oilers up 2-1 in their series. And if the Florida Panthers probably would love to finish this off tonight. Tim, you talk about urgency. Don't you think the Panthers players would love to finish this off and just kick back, watch the Western Conference Finals, get some rest? At this point in the hockey season, you got so many guys who are banged up, and a few extra days off would do some players some wonders.
Yeah, hopefully for their case, it would be a grind of a series, too. Tomorrow night, Dallas and Edmonton. Edmonton winning yesterday and pulling away late in that third period to win 6-1, and the over cashing in that one as well. So Edmonton tomorrow night, a minus $1.60 favorite. Total still sitting at 6.5 in that one tomorrow night. So we will see puck drop coming up about 10 minutes or so down in Sunrise, Florida. And Johnny Avello let us know that his customers at DraftKings Sportsbook very much anticipating a closeout tonight. And Matt, if you look at our betting splits over at vsin.com, on the money line, 78% of bets on the Florida Panthers, and even more percentage of bets on the puck line. 88% of bets on the Florida Panthers, 95% of handle. So if you are a contrarian, the Carolina Hurricanes are your squad tonight. But best of luck, ladies and gentlemen.
It's just I could not make that bet on the Hurricanes tonight. It looks like it's going to be a sweep, and I'm a little bit surprised the betting percentages aren't higher, or the money line's not higher. I thought Florida would probably be about a $2 favorite in this game tonight.
DraftKings looks like they're the highest in the market, around minus 180. Circa sits at minus $1.70 for this one. And if you think...
Takes a lot of courage to bet Carolina, Tim. Did you even think about it today?
No.
No. I didn't either.
I think I'll say this, and I'll give credit to Scott Seidenberg, who was in studio a couple weeks ago for you, and we'll watch this game and we'll see how it plays out, and maybe we could get a cheap puck line price, because I can tell you one thing, man, if this thing is a one-goal game in favor of the Florida Panthers, the Carolina Hurricanes are pulling the goalie, right? Late, probably with 3 minutes to go. So we'll see how it ultimately plays out. That puck line price plus 145 here at Circa if you want to go that direction. So we will see how it plays out. Of course, Florida has not only won every game in this series, they've covered the puck line with relative ease, winning 5-2, 5-0, and then 6-2 in game number 3 on Saturday night. So puck drop coming up in less than 10 minutes. My best bet, we're going to go first period under and see how this one ultimately plays out for me. FanDuel still at minus 110 to the under. Matt, on the hardwood tonight, you and I are going to wait and live bet this one. But you said it to Johnny, and you were leaning more so towards the dog here. Or, sorry, towards the favorite? Dog, okay.
Well, OKC Thunder 0-6 against the spread on the road in the playoffs. So I don't care what the rating says, what the power rating says about this team. It's totally different from home and road, and the Thunder need to prove it to you on the road tonight. I would lean taking more than 3 and live betting with the T-Wolves when they fall behind at some point. Look, T-Wolves blitzed the Thunder from the start in Game 3. That's not going to be the same script tonight. It's going to be different. So I would think there's going to be some point where you're going to be able to get Minnesota +5, 5.5, +7, who knows? I would expect that the Thunder come out and play with much greater urgency from the start tonight, and that's where you're going to get your value on the underdog and live betting early in the game. Let's say OKC leads 15-8, Tim. You're going to get more than 3 with the T-Wolves, and that's why I'm looking to beat, get the better of it with the underdog. Now, I really don't want to bet. I'm not crazy about the T-Wolves like I was in Game 3 because the Thunder are coming off a game where they got blown out and embarrassed, and you would expect they're going to respond tonight. And that's why I think in the first quarter you're going to see a much better performance by the Thunder, and that's probably where you get your value live betting the T-Wolves. Let's say you get them at +7. I would take 7 if I could get that with the T-Wolves live.
I kind of think tonight might be a situation, and obviously it's going to be a little bit more challenging to get Oklahoma City as a dog, but I think tonight might be one of those nights where you just want to grab both sides, and I know that's easier said than done, but if Minnesota can get out to a quick lead, I think OKC is going to find a way back, and then it feels to me Saturday night was the anomaly, right? 34-14 after the first quarter, 30-point lead at the half, and just run away and hide. That's not happening tonight. I would be very surprised if either one of these teams. To me, as you mentioned, the Eastern Conference Finals has been tremendous. Game 1, amazing. The comeback we saw from the Indiana Pacers last night, the comeback from the Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns, just unbelievable. Some of those role players for the Knicks playing as well as they did. Jalen Brunson dealing with foul trouble late in the fourth quarter, but still they had bench pieces. Miles McBride playing as well as he did off the bench there for the New York Knicks. I think we get one tonight. I really think, Matt, to me, this is one of the best games. Maybe this might be the best game of the entire series.
I can see that.
I think tonight is going to be wildly competitive, and I think you're going to get an opportunity to get a plus number on both of these teams at some point in this game.
You can get +7 T-Wolves. At some point, you might be able to get +2 Thunder. Who knows? Set yourself up in the middle. I'll say in the previous game, if you look at the box score, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP, was -32 in Game 3. The MVP was -32. OKC's other starters had similar numbers. But Anthony Edwards, you knew he was going to come out like his hair was on fire. He scored 30 points, did not play in the fourth quarter. Julius Randle, who had 6 points in Game 2, a pretty poor performance by him. He comes back, he scores 24 in Game 3. There was a lot of motivation there for Minnesota in Game 3. I think this script is going to be different tonight.
Hey, folks, just a reminder, Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums. Earn cashback rewards, 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today, edgeboost.bet. The promo code PRIME, PRIME, deposit $25, and Edge Boost will match the deposit. Once again, the website, edgeboost.bet. Bet. So on the ice, we will get Hurricanes and Panthers underway here just a little bit. Frederick Anderson back on the ice after getting benched in Game 3 for the Carolina Hurricanes. So the desperation move there for Rod Brind'Amour did not work out in game number 3 as they fall 6-2, giving up 5 goals in that final period. So they're back to Frederick Anderson, who was lights out in the second round against the Washington Capitals, but has not been the case so far. So we'll see. Hopefully, for my sake, Matt, Frederick Anderson and Sergei Bobrovsky are tremendous in this opening period, and then after that, give up a billion goals. I don't care. But yes, first period under 1.5 for me at -110 is my wager here for our sprint in the second hour of the show. Matt, is it a bounce back for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? How about this? DraftKings right now just moved from 31.5 to 30.5 on his over-under points, but the juice minus $1.25 to the over after a poor showing in Game 3. Do we get a bounce back from SGA?
Yeah, I didn't think it had, the OKC blowout was not SGA's fault. Obviously, the entire team came out like they were stuck in the mud or in quicksand, and it was just T-Wolves were off and running on a fast track, and it's not like SGA threw a dud out there. There's the entire team threw a dud out there. Do I think he bounces back? More than likely. If you look at his numbers, in every game against Minnesota, he's putting up 30-plus routinely, so it wouldn't surprise me if he did. Quick update from the baseball world. I don't know if the swarm of bees have been cleared away from home plate at Petco Park tonight. Did you see that tweet I sent you?
Yeah.
There's a tweet from one of the reporters covering the Padres game tonight. Just swarms of bees around home plate at Petco that was causing some problems. I don't know if that game's going to be delayed, but Dodgers 6, Guardians 2 now. We are through 6 in Cleveland, and the Dodgers have a 4-run lead.
Just reminds me of the scene from Tommy Boy when David Spade and Chris Farley are driving. They're about to get pulled over, and he jumps out of the car and goes, "Bees! They're everywhere! Save yourself!" I guess that was the case at Petco Park here tonight. Hurricanes and Panthers about to get underway. They're singing the national anthem there in Sunrise. Much more on the NBA. The Knicks, they made it a series last night. Will they even things up tomorrow? We'll discuss that next right here on VSiN PrimeTime.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is VSiN Primetime on VSiN, the sports betting network.
About 20 minutes away from Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals as the Minnesota Timberwolves host the Oklahoma City Thunder, your odds-on favorite to win the NBA championship. Right now, the Thunder, a 3-point road favorite off of a 42-point loss on Saturday night. That's Matt Youmans. I'm Tim Murray. Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals on the ice underway. Scoreless, and let's keep it that way,
Dead
boys.
under.
Come on, let's go. 17:40 and change to go
Tim
in
Murray
the first
under
period.
1.5 goals.
Come
right?
on, baby. Let's make it happen. Baseball right now, just a handful of games going on. Plenty of day action across Major League Baseball. But the game that we have on here in the studio, there it is, over there. The Dodgers lead 6-2, Matt, against the Guardians. Minus 6,500 right now on the money line as the Dodgers led off the game thanks to Shohei Ohtani hitting a solo home run. And right now, top of the 7th inning with the man on first, the Dodgers leading 6-2. Underway in Arizona, Diamondbacks and Pirates. Diamondbacks closed at around a minus 230 favorite and scoreless between the Rays and Twins. Still to come tonight. Have we cleared the bees? Do we know?
We don't know.
We don't know. There was a tweet out there that Matt pointed out to me. Annie Halliburton from, I believe, The Athletic tweeted out the video of a swarm of bees around home plate, which just looks horrifying. I don't want anything to do with a swarm of bees. No thanks. I did tweet out the video of Tommy Boy. We watched it.
Annie she's a longtime TV host and reporter in San Diego, and she reported about the swarm of bees. Here's the update. Let's see. Not much of an update. I don't know if the game is going to start on time or not in San Diego, but that's an odd thing tonight with a swarm of bees around home plate, and that is a hell of a swarm.
That's a lot of bees, man. That's a lot.
You can't see the video on Twitter, but that's a lot of bees around home plate. It's a wild situation there, and we'll see if that game gets started. It's supposed to start in 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
5:40.
Yep. Yeah, so we will we'll keep you posted on that. By the way, Matt, if you're wondering, Stephen A. picked the Timberwolves to beat the Thunder tonight. So I don't know if that's
late money showing up on the Thunder.
All right, we will get back to Thunder and T-Wolves because, let's be honest, that game's probably not going to start until around 8:40 or so. Mm-hmm. The network is going to milk that puppy as much as possible. So last night, Matt, sitting there in the first half, and I got a couple of texts just saying, I can't believe it was a no-show. This thing is over.
Knicks no-show.
Pacers are about
sweep.
to get Pacers about to sweep them.
Same thing on Twitter.
And
text Twitter last night, first half.
Freezing cold takes had a hell of a night, by the way.
I know.
Plenty of opportunities out there.
I'll admit this. I sent out a reverse jinx text because I needed the Knicks to win last night. We need the Knicks to extend this series.
Do. Both you and I have over 5.5. Yes,
got to get over 5.5. So when Pacers went up 20, I said, okay, I can't wait any longer. I sent out the reverse jinx text, and that's when the Knicks started their comeback, Tim. So I'm going to take some credit for what happened last night. But I was getting discouraged at that point, too, because it was starting to look like, well, we were wrong about the Knicks. They blew game one, and, they choked and blew the 17-point lead in the fourth quarter, up 9 with a minute to go. They blew that game and blew the series, and I guess that's where it ended. Well, thanks to Karl Anthony Towns.
Whew.
Getting red hot, 20 points in the fourth quarter last night. The Knicks brought this series back to life. And that was a hell of a game last night.
NBA PR put this out with last night's win over Indiana. The Knicks are now the first team in the play-by-play era, 97-98, to achieve 3 20-point comeback victories in one single playoff run.
2 against the Celtics.
All 3 came on the road, too. Yeah. 2 at the Celtics and 2 against the Celtics, 1 against the Indiana Pacers. The head coach of the New York Knicks, Tom Thibodeau, last night following his team's 20-point comeback victory.
I know you guys roll your eyes when I say no lead is safe, but no lead is safe because I think with the 3-point shot, people make up ground quickly, pace of the game, make up ground quickly. So you see comebacks all the time, and if you let up just a little bit, that's what happens. And so you got to win games different ways. Obviously, you prefer to play from a lead, but if whatever it is that you have to do, that's what you have to do to get the win in the end. And going into the game, we talked about you don't play the series, you play the game. Just focus in on what it takes to win tonight's game. That's all we're thinking about.
Matt, I'm not going to pretend to say that I immediately bet the Knicks at halftime. But it felt like the little run that the Knicks had at the end of the first half when Mikal Bridges hits a 3, Josh Hart hit a little jumper, final minute and change, they had a little 5-0 run. And I just thought to myself, I wonder if that's going to spark the Knicks a little bit. It took longer than that. Karl Anthony Towns goes nuclear in the fourth quarter. But it did just feel like that little spurt kind of kept them alive in that game. And it was one of those things, you and I have said this to each other a million times doing this show, watching games. Shouldn't the Pacers be up more right now? Yeah. And it felt like that was the case last night, despite them being up 13.
Well, that was true in the first half of Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals when the T-Wolves were up 48-44 on the Thunder.
Yep.
And we said that should be 60-44. And they were up 4, and guess what, Tim? T-Wolves paid for it. They should have had a bigger lead. They paid for it and ended up getting blown out in the second half of that game. I thought last night there was a little spark of optimism right before the half with that mini comeback because they were down 55-35. Knicks were down 20, started to creep back into it. The third quarter, they were creeping closer and closer, still down 10 at the end of the third quarter. But then, like Tom Thibodeau said there, with the 3-point shot and the pace that these games are played at, you can wipe out a 10-point lead in 2 minutes. In fact, the Pacers wiped out a 9-point lead in the last minute of Game 1. So
they've done it 3 times this year, or in this postseason. It's insane.
That's why there's so many good, again, this is why there's so many good live betting opportunities in the NBA.
No, there's no doubt.
And that's why we talk about that all the time on this show. Last night I had a buddy who was betting the Knicks. He's a Pacers fan, but when the Pacers got up big, he was betting the Knicks like plus 12, plus 14, plus 16. He said, I got a feeling that the Pacers are going to blow this lead. And he won all those live bets he took on the Knicks last night at double digits. And great. That's good betting. It worked out that way that the Knicks, desperate, had to win that game, got back into it, and Karl Anthony Towns went crazy in the fourth quarter last night. He was knocking down some incredible shots.
He did the old when he got the and one.
Yeah.
I thought that's the Matt Youmans dance move. I feel like there like this, yeah.
Go-to dance move. Been many years since been any dancing here, but I'll tell you another thing is I thought the Knicks got screwed on 2 calls down the stretch. One was on Jalen Brunson's fifth foul.
The fifth foul was terrible.
Come on,
and it was funny
that?
hearing, Reggie Miller, and everyone gives him crap because he's a Pacer. He was like, that's not a foul.
No,
Van Gundy was all about it. He's like, that is horrible. And you can't call. And the thing is, the inconsistency, right? And this is what Van Gundy pointed out. He's like, that's not a foul, and you haven't called it all game, and they called it in the fourth quarter to give the best player for the Knicks his fifth foul.
5 fouls to the bench. I was ticked off about that because that was a horrendous call. And there was 2 really bad calls went against the Knicks. They overcame all that and still won the game last night.
Karl Anthony Towns, 20 of his 24 came in the fourth quarter. He was great, and they made the lineup change. I don't know how much it helped or hurt as Mitchell Robinson gets a start. I'll tell you what, I thought Josh Hart late in that game was making some great rebounds. Just getting up there, getting boards, doing what he does, kind of the ugly plays there, and was impressive. But the Pacers, Matt, held to 42 points in the second half, and the head coach of the Pacers, Rick Carlisle, on the second half offensive woes last night.
Well, they had a lot of their better defenders in the game in the second half, and that makes it harder. And so, you've got to grind defensively to get rebounds, and there's a different element of grinding when you're going against their better guys. And so we're going to have to do better in a lot of those situations. And there were times we got good shots and just simply didn't hit them.
Game 4 tomorrow night, Matt, in Indianapolis. As the Pacers are a 3-point favorite. Game 4 between the Thunder and T-Wolves coming up. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it down to 2?
Pacers 2-point favorites.
Oh, I thought it was 3. Oh, 3 tonight. Excuse me. Yeah, that's my bad. 3 tonight in favor of Oklahoma City. 2 tomorrow night in favor of the Indiana Pacers. Well, folks, if you're looking to bet the NBA playoffs or bet baseball, whatever it may be, our partner ProfitX is offering the best odds all baseball season and playoff season long. ProfitX is a peer-to-peer sports exchange available in 40 states. You'll be able to make your sports picks against other groups of fans rather than against sports books. Exchanges guarantee you the best odds on average by 10 to 20%. You can even request your own odds. Download ProfitX today, but make sure to use the promo code VSiN, V-S-I-N, to earn up to $200 in profit cash over your first month. Thunder T-Wolves, 18 minutes away, according to ESPN. 11:30 and change to go in the first period. Scoreless between the Canes and the Panthers. Let's keep it that way, boys. Let's get this first period under home. That's Matt Youmans. I'm Tim Murray. It's VSiN Primetime.
This is VSiN Primetime on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
We're about 10 minutes away from the start of Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals, Thunder and T-Wolves. And you and I were laughing, Matt, as we have the ESPN broadcast on here in studio. By the way, still scoreless between the Hurricanes and Panthers. 10 minutes to go in the first period. Halfway home, boys. Let's go. Get us home. Julius Randle just popped on set 15 minutes before the game in his warm-ups, just sitting there yucking it up with Malika Andrews and Kendrick Perkins and Stephen A. and Bob Myers. So
probably not the best sign.
I guess he's loose. He's feeling confident, sitting down on set, middle of warmups there.
Well, the other thing you would say is, okay, the T-Wolves are down 2-0, and they went into that game on Saturday all business.
Oh, yeah.
And they blew out the OKC Thunder from the start. Tonight, you've got Julius Randle clowning around with Stephen A. Screaming A. Smith on the ESPN set on court 15 minutes before tip-off. Now you got Screaming A out there picking the T-Wolves to win the game. I don't think those are great signs.
Not feeling great there. By the way, just taking a look at the market, no real movements here since we've been on the air for this one. Oklahoma City laying 3. That is a number across the market. I see maybe 1.5 out there, but the total still sitting at 219 at most shops, circa the highest in the market. So take that for what you will. Maybe they saw some sharp money come in. 219.5, Matt, is where that number sits. It opened here at circa 218.5, so a little bit of movement there. DraftKings from their opener, Matt, it looks like it was 216.5, so they've seen more of a movement towards the over. But right now, OKC, a 3-point favorite, and the total sitting at 219. And it looks like the South Point here in Vegas just went to 219.5.
Good news for Tim Murray.
Not yet.
Nothing interesting happening in this hockey game. We're scoreless 11 minutes into it. We're not going to
keep it
cash tickets yet, but it's 0-0. You got under 1.5 goals. And looks like we got a timeout on the ice with 8:58 to go. No score. You mentioned this during the break. Let's say it on the air. Happy birthday to Brent Musburger. 86 years old today. Brent Musburger, his brother Todd, Brent's nephew Brian, all involved in founding this network a little over 8 years ago. Brent born May 26, 1939.
Wow. Happy birthday to the GOAT.
Former voice of college football for ABC and ESPN. Do you know who won the college football national championship in 1939, Tim?
Army.
That's not a bad guess.
Oklahoma.
Texas A&M was the AP champion. There were actually 3 undefeated teams that year. Cornell, Texas A&M, and USC. A&M was the AP champion. Army, Notre Dame, always good guesses back in that era.
When in doubt, just guess Army in the 30s or, Oklahoma or I guess Texas A&M. That is when ultimately they get it done. So
1943 Notre Dame, 1944 Army, 1945 Army. So just off by a couple of years, right?
Yeah. So by the way, if you look at the AAC futures that are out there at DraftKings, Army and Navy, I think it's Navy then Army, 2 and 3, second shot and third shot to win that conference this year. And I was contemplating this, Matt, and we'll get back to basketball, but I was just throwing this out there. The best returning G5 quarterback, I think you can make a good case. It is Blake Horvath of Navy. Very productive quarterback a year ago, so we'll see how the mids fare this year. But we will talk. We might talk a little college football a little bit later on in the show as we get a lull maybe in the action, but still, we will see. We will see how Oklahoma City, Matt, bounces back after a 42-point loss in Game 3 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The stat that was out there, courtesy of Bet Labs, it hasn't happened often, but a team that won 75% of their games or more in the regular season and lost by 40 in the playoffs, the next game they were 4-0 ATS. So super small sample size, but the mindset being after an elite regular season team is embarrassed that maybe they will bounce back and be a little bit more buttoned up. But as you've pointed out, Oklahoma City has not fared all that well on the road so far this postseason from a covering standpoint.
Not well at all. 0-6 ATS on the road in the playoffs, the Thunder. I did want to mention this hockey game. So the Florida Panthers have outscored the Carolina Hurricanes 16-4 in this series, right?
Mm-hmm.
6-1 in the first period. But off to a slow start tonight, so got to give Hurricanes a little bit of credit here for coming out and playing well on the defensive end and not quitting. We were talking about, would the Carolina quit tonight? Would this be a sweep? Florida Panthers are going to put them away. So far, the Hurricanes have showed up for the fight.
I'll tell you this, Matt. What's interesting is looking at the live line. So this game closed, I think, minus 170 here at Circa. Minus 180 was the number at DraftKings. The betting market right now, the live betting market, despite this game being scoreless, has the Panthers now as a minus 238 favorite.
I really thought the Panthers were going to be $2 favorites before the game. I thought they would go off right around minus 200. So I'm not that surprised. And obviously, it's lopsided betting on the Florida side before the game. And, yeah.
By the way,
nothing I've seen, Ray. Well, we got a power play actually for the Panthers. Maybe is that why the live?
Not what we. Yeah, that's probably why.
Is that why the live line shifted in favor of Florida?
Live line's always about 30 seconds ahead of our TV feed here, so
that had to be
that
reflection of the power
makes
play
sense.
Up,
that makes sense. As we look at the live market right now, Matt, the total has gone up to 219.5. We've seen the over hit in the last two games of this series. Last game, of course, an easy over for anyone who went over 218, 143 to 101 the final score. And game two went over, not as easily, but still went over, 119 to 107. Game one did go under the number. And, a number of folks that I respect out there put out their opinion, and they like the over in this game. I didn't really have much of an opinion. I did think last night, Wes and I were talking about yesterday on the show that it felt like the Knicks and Pacers would be more of the Knicks, after being embarrassed, their defensive rating was god-awful. You'd see a little bit of better defensive effort, and we did see that. Now, was it poorer shooting? I thought that I actually second half, Matt, I'll give the Knicks some credit. I thought they played pretty well defensively for their capabilities.
I thought they played pretty well defensively, but also, like Rick Carlisle said in that clip we played, Pacers missed a lot of open shots. And a lot of
Miles Turner had a couple open looks there, and
Turner had one wide open three from the top of the key. He always makes, and he missed it. I mean, I thought the Pacers were just a little bit off on the offensive end too.
7 minutes to go in the first period down in Sunrise, Florida. Panthers on a power play right now, scoreless between the Panthers and Hurricanes. Panthers with a win tonight get back to the Stanley Cup final for the third consecutive year. And I got yelled at on Twitter, Matt, because I forgot that the Lightning were back-to-back Stanley Cup champions in 20 and 21. I thought the most recent back-to-back champs were the Penguins, 16 and 17, but I had made that mistake. I will never make that mistake again.
How about the state of Florida with dominant hockey teams?
Yeah, in this decade.
Tampa Bay, Miami. I mean, it's crazy what's going on with the Lightning and the Florida Panthers now on the brink of or close to winning 4 cups in the last?
Yeah, 4 cups, and if they win this one, and they're the betting favorite to do so, it'll be 20, 21, 24, and 25. So, yeah, that would be quite the run for the Sunshine State. When you think hockey, you think Florida, right? That is
Florida and Vegas, right?
Florida and Vegas. This decade has been Florida and Vegas, D.C., of course. Oh, no, that was last decade. But the Edmonton Oilers, Matt, our neighbors to the north, have not won a Stanley Cup. None of their franchise have won a Stanley Cup since 1993. The Oilers haven't won it since, was it the 80s?
I got to say, I am pulling for the Oilers to get that done.
That's a fun team, man. Yeah. That's a good team. Stuart Skinner's been playing exceptionally well in net. I mean, think about the difference, Matt. He gets pulled after the first 2 games because he's god-awful against the Kings, and then Picard gets injured. And now Stuart Skinner is playing tremendous in front of in net. It's wild. They're really goalies, to me, feel like relievers. You know, you just got to ride the hot hand, and sometimes they get ice cold or whatever it may be. So we will see what happens tomorrow night. Dallas and Edmonton, with Edmonton leading that series 2-1. They're a $1.60 favorite heading into tomorrow night, and we'll get some thoughts on that game from Connor McDavid a little bit later on in the show. Still scoreless, 5:09 to go as the Canes able to kill off a power play just a moment ago. And, you know, Matt, we mentioned it. We looked at our betting splits prior to tonight's game, and it was all on Florida. 80+% of the bets at DraftKings on the puck line, on the money line. And if you want access to those betting splits over at VSiN.com, you can get your hands on them for as little as $9.99 for the first month. Head on over to VSiN.com/subscribe. Matt, not only do you get the DraftKings, you get Circa as well, where a little sharper bettors might be looking at this. How about this, Matt? Circa over at VSiN.com heading into tonight. 97% of bets on the Panthers puck line.
Really?
Here at Circa.
97?
75% of bets on the Panthers. However, worth noting, heading into tonight, the money at Circa on Canes and Panthers was split 50-50. So there you go.
Edmonton Oilers last won the Cup in 1990. Well, way back there. Like you said, the Canadians' last Canadian team to do it in 1993. Just wild to think that.
Beat Barry Melrose and Wayne Gretzky.
That's right.
Los Angeles Kings. All right, we are about to get underway in the Twin Cities. T-Wolves, can they make it? A series tied up at 2-2. We'll tell you about the early action on the other side of the break.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is VSiN PrimeTime on VSiN, the sports betting network.
We're underway in Minneapolis as the Timberwolves and Oklahoma City Thunder. Game 4 between the Thunder and the T-Wolves, and the Oklahoma City Thunder, Matt, strike first as they hit a 3 to give them an early 3-0 lead against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So we'll be keeping you up to date on that. The sweat is continuing for me. 2 minutes to go in the first period. Still scoreless. That's the good news. The bad news, the Carolina Hurricanes just committed a penalty, so they'll have to kill off another power play here for the Florida Panthers. They've already done it once in this series, but in this period, I should say. But no, we got 2 penalties, man. A penalty on both. So we got a little 4-on-4 hockey right now between the Panthers and the Canes. So 2:20 to go in that one, scoreless, and hopefully we can get this first period under, and then I can be cool the rest of the game. And then just focus on Oklahoma City and Minnesota and see what we've got cooking here as this game underway. Right now, Matt, as we take a look at the early live line, Thunder now a 3.5-point favorite, and the total, which closed at 219, has actually ticked up a little bit to 221.5. Thunder minus $1.75 on the money line, and after this bucket, they'll go to a minus 180.
Yeah, 7-4 OKC with the lead over Minnesota. Now Thunder 4.5-point favorite. So I said the magic number for me here would be 7.
Okay.
If we get to the point where you get T-Wolves plus 7, I might take that. You get double what you got pregame, 3.5. If you get up to 7, I think that might be a spot worth buying the T-Wolves. Tim, we thought that this is not going to be a boat race, not going to be a runaway like Game 3. And I do think it's going to be a back-and-forth game tonight. So that's what you got to look for in the live betting. Right now, where can you get the best number on the underdog?
And right now,
now it's not going to happen because Minnesota about to hit a 3 to tie up the game at 7.
Yeah, so we will keep our eyes on this one. We'll be watching it with you guys and giving you thoughts on this game. So all tied up at 7 right now. The total has ticked up 4 points already from close. So you saw late money come in on the over. It was 219.5, and already, Matt, less than 3 minutes in, we had moved to 223.5. Now 222.5 is where we sit. 7-7 right now. Less than 3 minutes in. Thunder and T-Wolves still scoreless. 1:40 to go in the first period. 4-on-4 hockey right now between the Canes and the Panthers, as a pair of penalties on both teams there, or one penalty on each team, I should say, as we watch and hope that this first period does end scoreless. Could end 1-0, that's fine, but scoreless would be just dandy as well. So we will keep our eyes on what's unfolding there. Curious, Matt, where we are. The money line, once again, still sits at minus 195. So the Florida Panthers, who closed a minus 80 favorite, are now minus 195, and it's still scoreless after the first period.
Well, I just thought that's where the line would probably be pregame, was Florida about a $2 favorite, minus 200. So I'm not that surprised, but I got to say the Carolina Hurricanes they brought it tonight.
Yeah, they have.
They've been outscored 6-1 in the first period of the first 3 games, and tonight Hurricanes are showing up.
Yeah, so hopefully I think we're going to get there on this first period under, and we will. So scoreless first period there, and now I could sit back and watch some basketball. We can find when to ultimately jump in on Oklahoma City
no sweat.
and Minnesota.
Tim Murray with the winner. Nice job. Hey, our buddy, the Canadian kid, Ian Cameron, he went to the contrarian route with his play tonight on the side. You got the winner with the total in the first period. Ian Cameron played Carolina plus 152 tonight to avoid the sweep.
Okay. So we will keep our eyes on that right now after one period scoreless between the Panthers and the Canes. 10 shots for Carolina, 7 for Florida. And your money line sits Panthers minus 188, plus 145 for the Carolina Hurricanes as the Minnesota Timberwolves, Matt, take a 9-8 lead right now in Minneapolis, and it's an and one, so Oklahoma City down to just a 1.5-point favorite, and the total continues to climb. It is now 224.5. So the Thunder and the T-Wolves, as we anticipated, it's super early, obviously, but our expectations, Matt, we would not see a replication of what we saw on Saturday night, and I think that is off to already to a start of that expectation. My question is, Matt, we've seen this total already move 6 points to the over 4 minutes in. Is there a point where we look at the under, as both these teams have gotten off to a pretty strong start, as Oklahoma City now buries a 3 to make it 11-10? So do wonder if there's a time, as Jalen Williams, folks, he has gotten off to a great start. 8 points already for Jalen Williams. His over-under, I believe, was 20.5 tonight. And, you know, since, what was it, Game 7, he had really played poorly, I want to say, for, was it 3 straight games against Denver? And then Game 7, he played really well as the Oklahoma City Thunder, once again, a 1-point lead right now. Jalen Williams already 8 points for the OKC Thunder. But yes, he's kind of picked it up and looked more like the regular season Jalen Williams. This series didn't play well, and no one really played well in Game 3, but at 26 in the Game 2 win and 19 in the Game 1 win, he's off to a good start here, 8 points.
11-10, OKC's got the lead, and OKC now a 2.5-point favorite. Total 222.5. Money line is Thunder minus 154. So we're 4 minutes into it, and T-Wolves about to hit a 3 to take the lead here. So that's significant. Dodgers up 6-2 on the Guardians in the ninth. If you're betting baseball tonight, the Dodgers got a Shohei Ohtani leadoff homer, up 4 runs in Cleveland, trying to close that out. And how about the Padres? Down 1-0. We have started the game in San Diego.
The bees have subsided?
I guess they got a bee catcher out there. The swarm of bees have been cleared around home plate. The Marlins, who won, they stopped the Angels' 9-game win streak. And the Marlins won 2 in a row in Anaheim over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. They have a 1-0 lead in San Diego tonight. And actually, Marlins got runners on the corners right now, threatening to add to that lead at Petco Park.
16-15 the score right now. Thunder and T-Wolves exchanging blows. If you bet the under, you're not feeling awesome right now because the total is now out to 227.5. And the money line, as Matt just mentioned, has not changed since he last mentioned it. It has actually just changed. Now minus 160. SGA off to, I was about to say a slow start, but he hits a fadeaway jumper right there to give the Thunder a 1-point lead midway through this quarter. So Jalen Williams already 8 points, a couple of threes for OKC. Lou Dort hit a corner 3, Matt, just a moment ago. And for Minnesota, Jaden McDaniels, I beg your pardon, a 3, 8 points for the T-Wolves. The 2 best players in this series and all season long, SGA, 2 points so far, and a slow start here for Anthony Edwards. Has not attempted a shot as he is scoreless so far as the Thunder now take a 3-point lead, Matt, with 6 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Yep, Thunder up 3, live line 4.5, total 227.5. And Tim, right here before we get to the end of the hour, we should mention the one baseball game that has not started yet on tonight's card. Angels had an 8-game win streak. That was stopped by the Marlins. They won 2 in a row. Angels swept the Dodgers during that streak when they won 8 in a row. Home tonight to start a series with the Yankees, who just won 2 of 3 at Coors Field after losing the Friday night game. And predictably, the Yankees favorites and drawing money in the market today. At Circa right now, Yankees minus 188. That number opened minus 165. So a lot of steam on the Yankees. Total of 10. I did not play that game tonight, and I don't think you did either. So just wanted to acknowledge that game's going to start in about 40 minutes. It's the last baseball game on the board tonight.
And the betting splits for Yankees and Angels over at VSiN.com. Not a big shock here, Matt, especially DraftKings being very popular in New York and
I'm going to
Jersey.
say Yankees drawing 75% of the action.
88% of the tickets on the Yankees, 90% of the money at DraftKings. And folks aren't shy about the run line either. 81% of bets on the run line for the Yankees, 92% of the money. How about the total, Matt? 55% of bets on the under, but 73% of the money at DraftKings on the over. And as always, you can check those betting splits out over at VSiN.com if you are a VSiN Pro subscriber. And Matt, you mentioned a little bit of a line move, and before the line moves, the folks over at Sharp Plays are already there. They don't chase the market, they move it. So make sure to check out everything that Sharp Plays has to offer. All their picks are documented back to 2011. Receipts, public logs, results right there on the website. Respected, watched, feared. That's the Sharp Plays. Check them out now. sharpplays.com. We got a timeout in Minneapolis, 18-17. The Thunder, a 1-point lead, minus $1.60 on the money line. The big move we've seen so far, Matt, in this one, the total up from 219 to 225.5, just 6.5 minutes in. One period in the books down in Sunrise, Florida, scoreless between the Panthers and the Canes.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.